All right, we're good. This is Murray Miller. It's Sunday morning. I'm excited to be here. Sorry about that. I'm starting over again because I didn't press the record button, but I wanted to have this so we could pass it on to people as they're bringing more and more men into the business. And as I said earlier, I want to thank Elizabeth Lacconi for inviting me to do a call for some of the men in her group that are just trying to look at this from a different perspective sometimes than women look at it. And it's true. We all have a different viewpoint, and I think that what I'm going to try to do today is give you a perception and cast a vision for you on how we can actually build this business from a man's standpoint. What is it that we look for, and why is it so different? I mean, when I look at some of the leaders in the company, the vast majority of leaders are women in our company right now, and it will even out. It will, without a doubt, take over, and part of the reason for that is because for the last decade plus, Isagenix has been a product story. And women are, without a doubt, natural networkers. You know, they say that in the direct selling industry, 82% of women that earn more than six figures, more than $100,000 a year, do so through our industry, through the direct selling industry. And I think the reason for that is because they want it all. And what I mean by that, they want to have the time freedom to raise their family and to be able to travel and do the things they want to do without having that glass ceiling. And without having to go to an office or to have, you know, someone else telling them when they can take vacations. And so they're more likely to grasp hold of this before the men. And because it's been a product story for the last decade, and most times when you get into something that, you know, women are natural networkers. I remember, you know, during the pregnancies when my wife was, you know, getting ready to have babies, and she would go to the baby stores, these women would get together and they would talk about the product, the carriage, the diaper changer, and all these other things, and they would just naturally tell each other all these things, and that's very natural for them. And as a matter of fact, when men look at Isagenix, they look at it and they see so many women involved, and they see sometimes they get together at their homes and they talk about it, and they think, I can't relate to that. That's something that would be perfect for my wife or my significant other or for my sister or for my mother, but not for me. And you have to take a look at some of the leading men in this company, people like Jimmy Smith and Jay Bennett and Warren Lance and Michael Klaus and, of course, Herb Cepeda, myself. We have a little bit different perception on this. And I think that, you know, when I cast this vision for you today, and what I'm hoping to do is really put you in a situation that you fully understand what it is we have. You know, guys need a track to run on. We need facts. We need a system. We need a story. We need technology. And I'm not saying that women don't. And so I'm not going to keep qualifying that all the way through, but I'm saying specifically it's not something that we do naturally. We are used to running on a track, and if I can give you a track today, I think it's going to help you become more successful in the business in a much more rapid fashion. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is the industry of network marketing. You know, network marketing is the great equalizer. And like I say all the time, it has, like most businesses, there are tons of companies that start up every year, and then you can just count on the fingers of one hand how many are around after 5 years. And there's a number of different reasons for them. I'll mention a few of them. Some of them are because they just don't have a good product, whether it's a copycat product or an insignificant product, or maybe they just don't have a product at all, and I'll address that in just a second. Or some companies have durable products that you don't buy very often, like a water filter that you might buy once every 10 years. So that doesn't make a lot of sense as far as creating a long-term residual duplicatable stream of income. So if you have a product that is insignificant, or you have you don't sell a product, let's say you sell a discount program or a travel program, or you're offering a membership to an online buying club, and you have buying power because there are more members, so you get discounts, that gets old. And you can make money. You know, all these companies, you can make money in them. But as far as getting a long-term residual stream of income, it's very, very hard to do without a highly consumable, highly emotional product. And you've got to have this. I mean, for network marketing to be, a long-term stable business, you've got to have a full house in all these categories. One of them is the product. Now, like I said, we have literally got thousands and thousands of physiological transformations that we can point to over the last decade. The products work. They're constantly improving the products. We cannot have a business without these products. We have 25 full-time scientists, numerous PhD scientists that are creating our own products. We're doing our own research and development, and we have products that are beyond what any other company has. There's no question about it, and the proof is in the results. So now that we know this, what's taken place between 2002 and 2012 is nothing short of phenomenal, because believe it or not, there are only 52 companies that have gone 10 years in this business. Can you believe that? Only 52 companies out of the thousands of network marketing companies that start up. And a reminder for you guys, if you're not taking notes, this is a great time to write things down. Network marketing companies, they start up because it's very attractive for the owners to use a system of distribution that has no overhead. In other words, when you have a volunteer sales force and they don't have to, you don't, as the company owner, you don't have to stock inventory for them or wait 30, 60, 90 days to get paid and you know, all the things that you have to do in traditional business, you know, whenever you sell a product. Network marketing, you don't have any of those headaches. When the product leaves the warehouse, it's paid for, and then someone else distributes it for you. So it's very attractive for these companies to get involved in the industry. And that's probably why so many of them start up and not too many of them go long term. Many times it's because there's insignificant corporate leadership. Maybe they don't have experience. Maybe there's internal fighting. You know, there's a lot of things that take place in these startup companies. But you have to have a proven system with corporate leadership, and you have to have a system of duplication, in which we're going to talk about in just a second. So in 2002 to 2012, we became 10 years old, and we became one of the very few companies that are part of this group of 52 companies that have made it past 10 years. Only 5 of those companies continue to grow, if you can believe that. 50 companies have hit 300 million. Only 50 companies have hit 300 million in annual sales. Isagenix is number 50. Out of all those 50 companies, only 5 continue to grow. Only one of the 5 companies are not multi-level marketing, and that's Isagenix. Now, you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, I thought this was multi-level marketing. No, there's a huge distinction between a company that pays you on levels of people as opposed to a company that has a compensation plan that pays you on volume. And that is a huge distinction, guys. That is a huge distinction. When someone says to you, oh, I understand what that is, that's a multi-level marketing company, you have to just step up right then and say, no, actually it's not. It's a similar concept, but the compensation structure is completely different, and that's why people in Isagenix are making so much more money than in any other network marketing company. Another story that is real important that you get down as you're developing your story and you're talking facts to people about this company is that not only did only 1 out of 5 of these companies that are still growing past the $300 million mark are growing in a rapid fashion, but only one is going through the kind of momentous growth that we're going through now. It's never happened before in history. Couple numbers for you. 2012, we hit over 330 million. It was like 336 million. 2013, we grew by over 30%. We did over 438 million. In 2014, this year, we're going to do over 700 million. It's already in the charts. It's a foregone conclusion. We're in the second week of December. So we've gone from 330 to 438 million to 700 million inside of 3 years. And Jim Coover has gone on record, our founder, president, and said we are actually going to do over $1 billion in 2015. Now, in that period of time, Isagenix has created a total of 125 Isagenix millionaires. These are people that have earned over $1 million since they started working with the company. Now, that number is going to, think about what I just told you. It took us 10 years to hit our first $1 billion and only 2 years to do our second $1 billion in cumulative sales. So what we have in our hands is nothing short of momentous growth, and we're in that momentum phase. And when we hit this critical mass, and the product starts to become a household name, all games change. Everything is off. The industry is coming of age. Now, from a business owner standpoint, guys, for just a minute, when you put this up against other businesses, what's so exciting about it, especially for someone like myself that has, invested in several businesses, own 3 businesses, I'm partners in businesses, I have a commercial building, I know what it takes to get a business off the ground, and it's usually very high risk. Isagenix is the epitome of a low-risk, high-reward business because it takes nothing to get started. Okay, I think Dragon Lee is on the call with me today, and he's one of the newest guys that we brought in. Dragon was born in Hong Kong. He's got a lot of contacts in mainland China. He lives here in the Boston area. We're so excited to have him in the group. And what was more refreshing to me when he came in is knowing very, very little about network marketing. He said, how do you get started? And I explained to him the different product packages, and he said, well, it wouldn't make sense to start with anything less than the Business Builder Kit because that gives me the biggest variety of products. I need to try everything. How much is that? And I said, well, it's $10.99, which we make a joke that if you pay $10.99 for the Business Builder Kit, you end up with a big $10.99 at the end of the year. That's a joke, but the truth is, with taxes and shipping and everything else, it's like $1,200 and something dollars. He said, is that the biggest one you have? I said, yeah. He said, oh, why don't you have a bigger one? I couldn't even answer that. He was looking at this completely from a business standpoint. He wanted to know how he was going to duplicate success. And that's what we're finding, guys. If you're thinking that the way to bring someone into this business is the President's Pack, that's not a bad way to bring someone in. But really, during this growth phase, $1,200 to get involved in a business, and you're going to eat and use most of the products, so you're eating your overhead, is nothing. I never think twice about telling people that's a good way to get started in the business. Now, some people can do it and some people can't, but if you're thinking about starting any franchise or getting involved in any business and you think about $1,200, it's laughable. And that's where you have to get into that mindset that this is not about a product. This is not about a cleanse. This is not about, losing weight. Those are all side effects of the business. And what we're doing now that we've spent over 10 years building a product story, that we have a tremendous product story, we are now talking about a money story. And that's the transition you need to make to bring executives, men and women executives, into the business. From a guy's standpoint, that is what I talk about. That is where I hit the nail on the head for people. When they start thinking this is a party plan, and this is products that I'm going to have in my garage or basement, or this is products that I'm going to have to be telling people about and shipping to people, that's their perception. That's what they think of when they think of this. And you have to break the mold, and you have to explain to them this is huge business. And if you treat it like a business, that's how you're going to be able to retire in 3 years with a high 6-figure income, which we're going to talk about in just a second. So we are getting this more into a money story than we ever have before. And, from my standpoint, it's much easier to build this business fast than it is to build it slow. And if you're one of those guys that your wife is kicking butt and doing great with Isagenix, and you're thinking, okay, I'll just keep doing my thing and let her do her thing, big mistake. Big mistake in my mind, because you have the opportunity to really set yourself up over the next couple of years with legacy income. There is nothing that you can possibly do over the next couple of years that can set you up, that can earn you $1 million and then have a residual income of $40,000 or $50,000 a month for the rest of your life. And if you hear those numbers and you're saying, Murray, those numbers are so far beyond what I can comprehend, well, I'm trying to expand your horizon here. Susan started this business mostly, we got involved together. We were both on board with the whole idea. I love network marketing from the experiences that we had in the past. But when she flew out to Arizona and came back in a heated passion, and we started going through the compensation plan, we were just literally giddy with excitement because we had never seen anything like this in the industry. And we'd been approached by literally dozens and dozens and dozens of companies because of the success we had in our first company back in the late 1980s, early 90s, and left the industry for 15 years. But people remembered us. and contacted us and told us, and we looked at all these companies, and we never were excited again until we saw Isagenix and what they had done. So Susan started the business, did most of the work for the first year and a half. I obviously was prospecting and recruiting whenever I could, and I was bringing people in. And in a period of time, just a short period of time, 2.5 years, we have accumulated over $750,000 in income from Isagenix. We will hit $1 million in income before our third year, or very, very close to it. And we are set up right now with an income stream that's between $40,000 and $50,000 a month. So what I told you is possible because I'm living it. We've done it. And I know anyone that gets on this program can do the same thing. And there are literally dozens and dozens of people that are already on the same track. If you knew this beyond a shadow of a doubt, you could do it. The problem is most people doubt it. And that doubt comes through when you're talking to other people about it. You have to get your own passion about what is possible with this. And you have to be consistent with your efforts. And as I said the other day, you have to spend time. You have to develop your own story. You can't just depend on someone else, whether it's your spouse or your sister or your partner or someone else to do this, and it's going to take off the way it could with your help. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to Todd. I'm talking to Philip. I'm talking to Kevin. I'm talking to Chuck. I'm talking to Mark. I'm talking to Kyle. I'm talking to Gary. I'm talking to Doug. I'm talking to all you guys that are listening to this call. This is the way that you're going to get to where we are. And what's so attractive about it is that once you get there, it gets easier and easier and easier. The more success you have, the easier it gets. The hardest part is the beginning. And I can't imagine that there's anything that you could possibly do for the next 2 to 3 years to set yourself up for the rest of your life with legacy income. You know, that drives me to think that my daughter, 21 years old, is graduating from the top entrepreneurial college in the country, getting an education at $65,000 a year at Babson College. She's been offered numerous jobs already. And you know what she's going to do? She's going to do network marketing in Isagenix. And I couldn't be prouder. I couldn't be happier for her. I don't want her to get a job. She doesn't have to get a job. She'll be earning 6 figures within 6 months to a year of getting started with Isagenix, truly getting started and being able to dig in and do what she has to do. That is proof that I'm sold. And it's not because of her parents, because if you have kids, especially kids that are, in their late teens, early 20s, they don't want to do what people tell them to do. They're at that rebellious stage. We're not twisting Chelsea's arm to do Isagenix. She can't believe that she has this opportunity. She's so excited about it. We've exposed her to what is possible. And with that, she wants to be involved. Now, that's real validation if you're getting your children involved in the company. So the track that we have here, I'm a gadget guy. I love technology, and without technology, I would be without my left arm. I love technology. And Isagenix has completely embraced technology, especially mobile technology. They've invested tens of millions of dollars to help us get the word out. Last night, my wife and I went out for sushi. We're sitting at the bar, and the person serving us at the bar is obviously Asian. And I said to her, where are you from originally? She said, Hong Kong. I said, oh, we're expanding our business in Hong Kong. She said, really? This is just a regular conversation, okay? I said, have you heard of network marketing? She goes, yeah, of course I have. Well, it's much more common over in Asia than it is over here and much more acceptable as a form of earning an income. So I said, have you heard of Isagenix? She said, no, I have not. I said, you know what? I've got something I really want you to watch. I said, give me your phone number, your cell phone. I'm going to send you a video. Within 13 seconds, I had her contact information, her email address, her phone number, her name. I had the 3-year retirement plan sitting on her phone, and she's in the back in the bar looking at the video that quick. That's technology that works in your favor. We have set this up so all you have to do is press play and let people self-select. There's no twisting of arms. There's no selling. What it is just sharing the information. That may sound corny, but it's true. All you have to do is let the information do the work. Isamovie.com is my best friend in the world. The 3-year retirement plan. We created the global exec team for everyone to be part of a professional network, and every one of you on this call is part of the global exec team. We have a YouTube channel, global exec team. We have a Facebook page, global exec team. If you're not on it, it's a secret page. Someone has to invite you to it. We can get you on it. But that is where the information lies, and we drive people to the information. The information gets to their mobile device. It gets to their iPhone. It gets to their Android device. It gets to their iPad, whatever it is that they're using. And that's how people view it. As a matter of fact, this conference, Join.me, there's an app that you can put on your phone, and you can watch it and listen to it anywhere with earbuds or with the speaker, whatever you want to do. That is how we are embracing technology. And Isagenix has given us this. As soon as you get enrolled, as you know, you get a $30 million self-replicating website. It's up and running within 2 minutes of you enrolling in the company. You create a name for it. Mine's justcleanse.isagenix.com, and then you have somewhere you can send people so they can see all the different products. They can enroll. They can purchase products. They can do all the things that you want to do, and then you have a back office to go along with that. I can't believe that they have these tools and people aren't even aware of them. And it's our job as leaders in this company to make sure that people are aware of them. I've spent literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in my companies, in my traditional companies, updating and maintaining our corporate websites and our prospecting and recruiting systems to get new clients in our college planning business and into our financial planning business. And you know what? It never ends. It never ends. It keeps going and going and going. It's my business partner that I really hate, because all this business partner does is take money and doesn't give any back. We don't have to do that in Isagenix. It's all been done for us. Getting started. If you're on this call and you're already convinced this is what you want to do, this is not for you. What I'm about to say. What I'm about to say is for you guys that are listening to this call, and your wives or girlfriends or sisters or whoever it is that you're working with has taken the ball and is running with it. You need to step up to see what is possible. Yes, I know you're busy. I know you have a 9-to-5. I know you have other things going on in your life. All I'm trying to do is motivate you, encourage you to take enough time out of your life to look at it, step back from the forest so you can see the trees and say, okay, what is really important to me? What is really important to me? If I can make a difference in my family's long-term history by getting involved with this company and building a residual stream of income, getting healthy in the meantime, locking arms with like-minded people that are all on the same path, what is wrong with that? It doesn't take much. Here's how you do it. You plug in. Monday mornings, 8:30 Eastern Time. Tuesday mornings, Wednesday mornings, Friday mornings, Sunday evenings, Monday evenings, Tuesday evenings, Wednesday evenings. We have calls every one of these nights. You need to find out how to plug into these calls and plug into them regularly. It's a half hour of your life every day. That's how you start. That's how you become what I call a fan. When you become a fan, you get excited. I'm a fan of the New England Patriots. I can't believe that I have to wait till 8:30 tonight to watch these guys play the Chargers. I'm chomping at the bit. Is it 8:30 yet? I love the Patriots. I know all the players. I know the coaches. I know everything that's going on. I'm a fan. Become a fan of Isagenix. Get involved. Follow what is going on. Plug into the calls, the product calls, the validation calls, the business opportunity calls, the connecting calls, the compensation plan calls, the cleansing calls. What's going to happen is you're going to have the opportunity that I don't have with the Patriots. You're going to have the opportunity to go from a fan to a player. You see, fans pay. Players get paid. You can get paid by becoming a player in this company. And the only way you do it is first becoming a fan, not letting anyone else take that away from you. You do it yourself. Once you're able to do it, I know, Kevin, you're listening on the call today. Kevin did a fantastic training call for his group Wednesday night, and he just finished reading the Eric War book, which is GoPro. and he talked about having a track to run on and different scripts that you can use. Sometimes guys, not necessarily as many women, because women just love to network, but guys need a script. Give me something to follow. What should I say? How should I do it? And Kevin, you did a great job with that. I suggest you go out, get the GoPro book, become a student of the industry, become a student of network marketing, find out what it is, and then all of a sudden you realize what we have in our hands. And what we're about to do is going to be nothing short of amazing. When I say nothing short of amazing, out of the $10 billion companies that have been in this industry, there are 10 companies that are over $1 billion a year, okay? 4 of them I guarantee you've never heard of. I guarantee it. If anyone's heard of Vorwerk, Vorwerk, I never heard of it. Natura, Natura, never heard of it. Bellcorp, Oriflame. These are 4 of the top network marketing companies in the world, direct selling companies. Companies like Amway we've heard of, Avon, Herbalife, Tupperware, Mary Kay, those are the other companies that are in the top 10. There's one company, started in 1984, the original company that I got involved with, Nu Skin International. Nu Skin is the only company that was able to achieve $2 billion in sales in record time. It took them 25 years to do $2 billion. These are old established companies. When you look at that list of companies that I just talked about, there are literally an average of 48 years old. Isagenix is 12 years old. We're about to do our first $1 billion. If we continue on the same trajectory that we're on right now, between the years 2017 and 2018, we will be somewhere between $2 and $4 billion in sales. So what it took the fastest growing network marketing company in history to do in 25 years, we're going to do it in between 15 and 16 years. Guys, that's what I'm talking about. That's what's absolutely amazing about this opportunity. And you know what? All of those people that come into Isagenix, that come into through our network marketing model, they have to come in somewhere. They're either going to come into your organization to be using this product, or they're going to come in through someone else's. So the question is, how many people can you get out there and talk to about this and start building this huge network that just grows and grows and grows once you get it started? And I always say this because it's so true. You have to have a vision of what the future looks like to get started. What is it going to look like in your business in 3 years? I'm talking to you. What is it going to look like in your business 3 years from now? If you can't picture a multi-million-dollar company that is doing tens of thousands of dollars in volume every day going through your organization, then you have to rethink this, because it's absolutely possible. There's 125 people that would stand in front of you and say, yes, 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 it's possible, because they're all millionaires within the company. And that happened in the first 10 years. What's going to happen in the next 10? We're going to create exponentially that many more millionaires. There's going to be 400 and 500 millionaires in this company 6-7 years from now as we go into the next few years of momentous growth. You have to be able to instill that information in yourself so you become passionate about it. Not over the top, just pass the information on. I promise you, some people are going to say yes. Some people are going to say, let me get excited. Some people are going to be dragging Lee and say, what's the biggest package that you have? And can I open up, this in China? Can I do this in Hong Kong? Who else? Where else can we go with this? Business people are going to come into your business. They're going to be attracted to the opportunity because of that. To become the largest health and wellness and nutrition company in the world, we have to rival companies like Johnson & Johnson, which is over $70 billion, $75 billion a year. That's what the goal is with this company. That's what Jim Coover is working towards, our founder, our president of our company. He and Kathy Coover have set the vision. They've said it. They've told us what we have to do. Don't worry about the people that say no. They're not saying no to you personally. They're just saying no to the business, and the timing might not be right, and that's fine. It's not for everyone. If it was, then no one would be making the kind of money we're talking about. You're just looking for key people that will help you build your business. Remember, when I say this is a money story now more than it has been in the past, what I mean by that is that the business has taken off. It speaks for itself. It's no longer under scrutiny. It's it's validated. It's proven. Professionals need to know that. So, use words like, what is your exit strategy when you're talking to people? What are you going to do? How are most people going to retire? What I do for a living, I get the opportunity, this is my day job, guys. I get the opportunity to talk to people every single day about their finances and how are they going to possibly afford a college education for their kids or 2 kids or 3 kids, because it's so incredibly expensive for higher education in this country. And most people don't have a plan. You know what most people do? They try to figure it out the junior and senior year of high school. They try to figure out where the money's going to come from, where can they send them, where can they borrow from, where will give them the most money, can I take money out of my house? Most people use their house as a piggy bank during the college years if they have a house, if they have equity in that house. Most people are living far beyond their means. I know this because I've been living it every day for 20 years. I have been doing people's retirement plans and college plans. I know what the statistics look like. They're absolutely grim. People are using their credit cards to the hilt. They're borrowing. Even the people that are making great money, even the people that are making $300,000-$400,000 a year, they're knocking the cover off the ball. They don't have any spare cash. They're living to their means. Here's an opportunity to get debt-free in 3 years, completely debt-free. Get rid of everything that you have payments on, including your house, and have an income stream to go along with that with no overhead, without any of the traditional headaches in business. If you don't think that's possible, you're not going to be able to do this. It is possible, but you've got to believe. You've got to tell yourself, I can do this just like anyone else. Susan started talking on the last call that we did about industry disruptors. I love that term, industry disruptors, like Apple did for communication and Google did for information and the Internet did for shopping. Isagenix is doing that for the way we earn an income. We are an industry disruptor, and I love that. I love the fact that we are involved in that. And so I get so excited when I talk to people about it. And I talked about the person I met last night who I never knew before. I'd seen her at the restaurant a few times, but I never talked to her about it. I had the opportunity to last night. Who knows what comes of that, but we're definitely going to talk again. And, I don't know if Joe made it to this call today or not, but he's brand new. He's the guy I see every day at the gym because he's a personal trainer there, and I just hit it off with him. He's helped me a few times when the bench press was falling on my chest and crushing my ribs, and he pulled it off for me a few times. But he's getting passionate about this. He's getting excited about this. He's not only excited that he'll have something to offer his clients, but he's excited that he has an opportunity to not have to be dependent on his personal training that he has to do every single day to make a living. He has to be there. He has to meet them at their time frame, in early in the morning, late in the evening, whenever it is that person can get there. And he's dependent on that. His own expertise is what he's dependent on, that he's become a prisoner of in order to make a living. Guys, I hope I'm painting a really strong picture for you and casting a vision for how you can make this work for yourself and how that you can make this work for your family and how you can identify with Isagenix as a man, from a man's viewpoint. 2014, and I say this not to brag, not to boast, not to say, hey, look at me. I say it because I want you to know that this is the most exciting year that I've ever had as an adult because I've been on 14 weeks of vacation in 2014. 14 weeks. I've traveled all around the world. I have had so much fun this year and will continue to do that. But you know what? My income is higher this year than it was last year with all that time off, with all the things that I've got going on. And my traveling is not done. I'm leaving for Las Vegas next week, going to see my dad, going to do a little industry thing for one of my other businesses and get to see my sister and have dinner with my sister and brother-in-law out in Nevada. It's exciting. It's exciting to be able to do these things and not have to worry about it. If you can just imagine for a minute, if any decision that you had to make going forward had nothing to do with money, where you lived, where your kids went to school, what you drove, what clothes you wore, where you vacationed. It didn't have to do with money. It was just basically you're trying to figure out what would be the best, most fun, best way to handle it. That's possible. It's possible. And you know what? I said this the other night, and I want to say it again. This is not all about consuming it and having all this money and keeping it to myself and being that kind of a person. It's nothing like that. I find that the people in Isagenix that make the most money tend to be the most generous. My wife is a major advocate of charities. I know a lot of the guys that are on this call right now, and all the girls that snuck on, I know you're on there, do a lot for charity and give a lot back, and that drives them. Whenever I talk to a person who's philanthropic like that and wants to be involved in those kind of things, whether it's church groups or things for children or adopting children, I know Mark's on the call today. Hopefully Kyle's on too. I know he was at Super Saturday. But I love the fact that you can use this money to do great things. It's not all about just having a bigger house or a better car or clothes or things like that. Those I think everyone needs that a little bit. But for the most part, this is about what you can do, the difference you can make. And we have that opportunity to step back from the forest and see the trees with Isagenix. And that's what I love about it. I love what Kathy and Jim have created and the vision and the people that they've attracted to the company from a corporate standpoint. Our corporate leadership is second to none. I put them against any Fortune 500 company in the world, this corporate leadership team. I've had the opportunity, because of the special events and everything, to sit and talk to these people, the lawyers, the CEO, Eric Coover, all of these other people, Travis Garza and Chris Nish. These people are really, they would walk through walls for this company, and they're supporting us. They're supporting our ventures and helping us get this and make this a real deal. The last thing that I want to touch on before I let you guys go and finish your Sunday and spend time with your families, I want to talk about scalability. These are the keys to success, and without scalability, you fail. As your business grows, you have to be in a system that is easily duplicated, especially as we hit that critical mass. We, as part of a global exec team with all of the leaders on this team, we have created a very, very simple. It's sophisticated, but it's so sophisticated that because of its simplicity. So we have an enrollment process, and it works, and we're living proof that it works. And these, all of our enrollment procedures are on our global exec team Facebook page. Our executive summary is there. We are in a situation that if you follow the leader, don't try to do things that aren't proven. Don't go to the trade show. Don't run advertisements and do things that just are not network marketing. Look at Herb and Patty Cepeda. They're the epitome of network marketing because they just do what comes natural. They network, and that's how they build their business. And we followed their advice. We looked at the success that they had, and we duplicated it. And that's what all the leaders are doing, is they're duplicating that success. So, we've developed a training system. We've developed a prospecting system. We follow the company's 90-day game plan. We plug into everything. And I submit to you, when you get off this call, if you make a decision to go pro, and you're not making a decision to quit your job and go full-time into Isagenix, nothing could be further from the truth. I'm still almost 3 years in the business. I'm still part-time in Isagenix. It's by far my most passionate part-time exercise, but that's what I do part-time. And I still like what I do for a living. I just know where my future is. You need to just get professional about the limited time that you have to spend in Isagenix, to spend it doing the things that are most productive. Don't confuse activity with accomplishment. Spend your time doing the things that are going to give you the most leverage in the future. Again, plug into the calls, plug into the meetings. Whenever there's an event, go to it. Commit yourself right now. I'm going to NYKO, and I'm going to Celebration every year for the next 36 months. No judgments. You're going to 2 events a year, major events. If there's an ICU within, traveling distance in a car, get there. Take the time to get there. Plug in, because if you're not plugged in, you're not even a fan. You've got to become a fan before you can become a player. So that's number one. The second thing is move from student to teacher. As long as you're listening to me or someone else, you're a student. As soon as you start telling other people how to do this, you become a teacher. Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Habit number 4, go from student to teacher. As soon as you do that, You start to own the material. You start to make sure you understand how to enroll someone. You start to understand what product packages, how to get someone set up on AutoShip, how to use the back office. You can't depend on someone else to do that. You have to do it. Immerse yourself in Isagenix for 36 months. I promise you, when you pop your head up, you will look up and you will say, oh my gosh, I cannot believe where I am right now and what my future looks like. Guys, thank you so much for taking time on a Sunday morning or early Sunday morning if you're on the West Coast. Rob, I know you're out there getting ready to go to the San Diego game. I am so mad at you that you let Debbie go instead of me. Just kidding, Debbie. And I know you're out there with Josh and Jamie too, so you should be having a ball. But listen, this is so exciting. Immerse yourself in this program. Talk to the people that are in your organization. Get on the calls, watch the videos, and watch your business grow. Elizabeth, thanks for making me do this. I'm so glad that I did this call. You know, you were the one that was the precipice that said, let's do a call for the men. I'm psyched that I did. I did record it. I know I rambled quite a bit, but it'll be available if anyone didn't get a chance to get on here. And I'll put that up on the Global Exec Team YouTube channel and on Facebook in just a little bit. Thanks for being on the call, everyone, and have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.